Thursday, April 9th, just coming to the end of the morning here. The SPY you can see is now, moving higher. But I wanted to go over just kind of the context that's in play and what some of the opportunities are given that context. Today's kind of an interesting day that way, where I was trading a whole bunch of stocks. I traded Coinbase to the downside, and then I bought UNH and MU and Meta back to the upside. And overall, I was biased to the upside overall, even though we started a little bit lower. And that's, with the market. On the weekly chart here, we did have that lower low, the reversal week, and then the two up week with some pivot machine gun targets back to these higher highs. So that's really where my bias is if you look at the broadening formation and the reversal near the lows, all along. But then the question is, well, why did I play the downside on Coinbase? Well, in this case, early on, it was the one stock that had the red bar to start below the pre-market lows, below yesterday's low, and follow through lower on bar two. But I also knew to take gains, quickly, given the fact that the market is even though the market itself, if I look at it, moved a little lower on the 15-minute chart to start, I wouldn't play that breakout of bar one to the downside because my overall context is up and I'm looking for failures to get long. So, obviously it ended up a good decision to exit the Coinbase trade, and as that one reversed with the overall market, even though there were targets down here. But, for me, once I had nice gains here and I kind of saw what the market was doing, I just wanted to exit the trade and, with kind of what I consider to be more of even though it was a really nice gain, more of a base hit gain. So, for Coinbase, for example, I bought the puts at 882, and eventually, I sold at 975, 1074, 1225, and 1250, and I exited that trade near the lows. And then I went to the buy side on a bunch of other stocks, just given the context. You could have played the SPY to the upside on the red to green move. I instead played United Healthcare down here. I bought that. That's moving higher. I bought Micron eventually on the red to green move going higher, and I bought Meta going higher because, again, my context was always to the upside. So just wanted to point out that within that context, you wouldn't be playing the SPY down, in my opinion, at all. But there are still some opportunities if you pick the right stock, to try the downside. If you did think the pullback might have been a little bit, stronger here, maybe to take out these lows down here into the gap before moving higher, you never know. And we did start down on the SPY, but if even though the SPY itself was kind of holding up here in the first two bars before moving lower, other stocks were a lot weaker. So if you're going to play the downside, in my opinion, you want to pick the weakest stocks right out of the gates, and in this case that worked out well, but overall I was more geared towards the bias to the upside, and that's one why I exited this trade down here, and two and three why I was looking for other stocks to buy after this move lower to start. And Meta is a good example because of the context of yesterday's price action to continue higher and everything else. So just thought I'd point that out. Context is very important, and picking the right stocks very important.